Hi, and welcome to Body Metrix, the show that teaches you how to incorporate healthy nutrition principles into your busy schedule. My name is Adrienne Delgado, and I'm a registered dietitian working in the Springford community. Today's episode is part 2 of our 3-part series on how to lighten up favorite recipes and transform them into healthy alternatives. Equally tasty, but with a lot less calories. It's our day-to-day choices that have the biggest impact on our health, and many people struggle with lunch because they get in a rut. They pack the same thing day after day, and before you know it, the new exciting option at a restaurant trumps our desire to be healthy. Unfortunately, eating out almost always means more calories, fat, sodium, and sugar. And not just because of what food we order, but because of the portion size. So today, we're going to put our focus on lunch ideas and swap 2 favorite meals with healthy alternatives. When we come back after this short break, I'm going to show you a healthier option to the standard soup and sandwich lunch. Hi, and welcome back to Body Metrix. In today's episode, we are going to lighten up 2 popular lunch ideas focusing on soups and sandwiches. For most of my patients who are focused on weight loss, I find they will typically skip over this meal or eat some ridiculous small amount in hopes of seeing a bigger loss on the scale. I'm here to tell you this never works. All it does is leave you depleted both in energy and nutrients, and 9 times out of 10, it will come back to haunt you after dinner time. Do you notice the days you eat little during the day, you end up ravenous at the end of the night? This is a dangerous time of day to be hungry. Not only are you tired and more likely to make poor decisions, but it is also the time period closest to bedtime, which means you don't have a lot of time to burn off these calories. These excess calories at night can lead to weight gain. Just as undereating calories at lunch can be detrimental to your diet, over-consuming calories at this meal can also have repercussions. In this example here, I have a grilled cheese sandwich on Italian bread with a loaded baked potato soup. It's the epitome of comfort food, with the warm, gooey sandwich and the rich flavors of cream and bacon in the soup. It's also a sodium death trap, coming in at over 2,100 milligrams of sodium per serving and 68 grams of fat, 37 of which are saturated. Although a meal like this sounds comforting, we need to lighten up the calories and make some changes to make this more heart healthy. Instead of the basic grilled cheese sandwich that typically has 2 slices of cheese, we're only going to add 1 slice, but then add some veggies to increase our produce count for the day. I'm also going to use a multigrain bread to increase the fiber and B vitamin content. In this recipe, I like to roast red peppers and broccoli with a little balsamic vinegar and olive oil in the oven at about 400 degrees for 15 to 20 minutes. I also use a non-stick surface like a griddle to make my grilled cheese, so I don't have to add any additional butter to cook the sandwich. Now for the soup, I still wanted to go for that creamy, warm consistency, but obviously lighten up the fat and sodium. So I'm going to teach you the simple carrot tomato bisque, because who doesn't love grilled cheese with tomato soup? For this recipe, you will need 1 large onion thinly sliced, 2 pounds of plum tomatoes halved lengthwise, 1 pound of carrots peeled and cut into a 1/2 inch thick rounds, 2 garlic cloves unpeeled, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 2 1/2 cups of water, 2 3/4 cups of low-fat milk, and 1/2 cup of thinly sliced fresh basil. Okay, so the first step in making this soup is to roast your vegetables. So on a sheet pan, you want to put a little bit of nonstick cooking spray and then add your tomatoes, your carrots, your onions, and your garlic. You're going to put this in a 400-degree oven for about 55 minutes, flipping it over every once in a while to get even cooking. Now I went ahead and did this step ahead of time just for the sake of the show, but this is what your vegetables are going to look like after you're done cooking them. You're going to peel your garlic cloves, take the scraps away, and then what you're left with is this beautiful array of vegetables. At this point, after you've cooked the vegetables, what you want to do is move these into a bowl because you want to scrape up all those brown bits, all that good flavor, into your soup. So what you do is you're going to add a cup of water to your hot tray, and you're going to scrape up all those bits. You're going to keep that because you're going to use that for the liquid in your soup. So like I said, I did all that ahead of time. This is what I'm left with. What I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to add the vegetables to my blender. Now, depending on the size of your blender, you may need to do this in batches. I'm going to see if I can get this all in one. All right. So the nice addition of carrots is going to sweeten up this flavor. Traditionally, you think tomato soup, you just think tomatoes. All right, so this fits in perfect. So I don't need to batch this at all. I'm able to put it all into one. Let's move this over here. And then I'm going to add my water. And now we're just going to blend the soup. And again, you're going to want to be careful because at this point your vegetables are going to be really hot. So just make sure you don't burn yourself. All right, perfect. So take our lid off. This looks amazing. Now it's going to be a thick consistency. I don't know if you can see that right there. We're going to put that into our pot. And we got that deep, rich color. Now at this point, you might like a thicker soup, but if you want, feel free to thin it out with a little bit of milk. You can use regular milk. I'm going to use almond milk for this one. And you're going to cook it over your stove. I'm just going to show you here, just for the sake of time. I'm going to add a little bit of milk. And you're just going to stir this and incorporate all of it in. You know what? I'm even going to add about a 1/4 cup of fresh basil. And like I said, imagine me doing this over a stove. You're going to incorporate all this together. That milk is going to give it that creamy consistency, much like our potato soup. All right, but if you could smell this right now, the basil smells amazing. And I'm not even heating it up, so this is gonna be really yummy. You're gonna let it simmer for about 10 minutes, and then afterwards, go ahead and put that into a bowl. You can even go ahead and garnish it with some more fresh basil if you'd like. All right, so let's put this here. All right, this soup is actually great to make on a weekend and then reheat it throughout the week. By swapping out the tomato soup for the potato soup and making a healthier grilled cheese, you will save yourself 827 calories and 53 grams of fat. The saturated fat goes from 37 grams to 6 grams, and the sodium decreases from 2,140 milligrams to 466 milligrams. Anytime you can eat a sandwich and a soup, two foods notorious for their salt content, for under 500 milligrams of sodium, you're doing fantastic. When we come back, I'm going to show you a way to lighten up the traditional restaurant chicken salad.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Hi, and welcome back. Before the break, I showed you a healthier spin on the traditional soup and sandwich combo. The second recipe we're going to lighten up is a fried chicken salad croissant sandwich. Now this is something you would see at a restaurant. And when you make boring peanut butter and jelly for the 4th time in a week, this option over here, it starts to look really good, and it doesn't take long to forget your health goals. It's also extremely high in calories, coming in at 1,052, with 56 grams of fat and almost 1,300 milligrams of sodium. Chicken salad is one of those items you should always make at home because you can control the fat content. When someone else makes it, you have no clue how many spoonfuls of mayo they may be using. For our lighter version, we are going to swap out plain yogurt for mayo and add a ton of fruits, veggies, and nuts for flavor and texture. For this recipe, you will need 3 cups of cooked chicken breast diced, 2 cups of red seedless grapes halved, 3 celery stalks chopped, 3 medium stalks of green onions or scallions, a half a cup of sliced almonds, 2 tablespoons of non-fat milk, 2 teaspoons of honey, salt and pepper to taste, 2 tablespoons of dill weed dried, 3 medium green apples, 1 cup of plain yogurt, and whole grain bread. All right, so for our chicken salad recipe, again, plain chicken salad, boring. We need to make this a little bit more exciting. So what I'm going to do in my bowl, I'm going to combine my cooked chicken already diced. Now this is a great thing to do for leftovers. If you have any leftover chicken, just dice it up, use it for chicken salad for lunches. I also already chopped up my green apple and my grapes. And I cut them in half just so it's a little bit easier to eat. I chopped up some celery. Here are my scallions for that nice onion flavor. And then finally some sliced almonds. This will get us our good healthy fat and a little bit more protein. And we're just gonna mix these ingredients together until they're incorporated. All right, perfect. Now we're gonna make our wet ingredients. Let's move this out of the way. All right, for this, we're gonna need our milk. Again, you can use regular milk or unsweetened almond milk. Our yogurt. Now in this recipe, I'm gonna use Greek yogurt, again, to increase the protein content, but also because I like that thick texture since we're not gonna be using mayonnaise. 2 teaspoons of honey. Just a little bit to sweeten it up. Just to offset some of that tart flavor from the yogurt. And a little bit of salt and pepper to taste. If your blood pressure's high, just skip that sodium. All right, I'm gonna mix this up. And then I'm gonna, after I put these ingredients together, I'm gonna add my dried dill. Dill works really nice in a chicken salad. Doesn't this look great? And it smells really good too. All right, after we're done, we're just gonna pour this over top of our chicken salad. And stir to incorporate. So you still got the creaminess without all the calories and the fat from the mayonnaise. And we're just gonna stir until it's all well mixed up. This is taking boring plain chicken salad to the next level and making it something you actually want to eat. Who needs to go out for lunch for sandwiches when you have this waiting for you? All right, after you're done, I'm just gonna go ahead and put that on my bread. Again, I'm using a multi-grain bread here to increase the fiber, but also to get my vitamins. And I have plenty for leftovers the rest of the week. Making our recipe a little bit lighter with the grilled chicken salad, we only have 419 calories in this dish right here. That saves us 633 calories. We decreased the fat to 10 grams, saving us 46 grams of fat. And the sodium is now 542 milligrams, which is down 747 milligrams. We also increased the fiber content by swapping out the bread, like I mentioned. The only thing we haven't decreased is the taste. Now this is a sandwich I can get excited about. You can also serve this over a bed of salad greens, or maybe even eat with some whole grain crackers for a light snack. Remember, eating healthy can be achievable just by swapping out a few key ingredients and adding more produce to your dish. Cooking at home is also a great way to shed calories and save money. Rather than looking at cooking as a chore, change your perspective and choose to see it as an investment in your health. Thank you so much for watching, and join me next episode as we conclude our series with ways to lighten up dinner comfort foods.